different feel today, Caroline, than where we were this time yesterday.
A much more summery feel today, and I think it's actually rather nice to have a break. It has been so active all month. A live look from our Arc Generators camera. You can see some puffy cumulus clouds outside. Temperature-wise, certainly on the warm side. And one thing we're not tracking, any rain showers. Now, there is a 10% chance of seeing an isolated shower south of I-10. Really, most of us, though, just going to be dry and pretty warm today. Right now, we're sitting in the lower 80s, 83 here in Houston, 82 in Conroe, 80 out in Livingston. Humidity certainly out there, and that's why you can add about 5 to 10 degrees to our current temperature. That's what it feels like. Right now here in Houston feels like 90, 92 in Pearland, so not as hot as we have been so far this month, but certainly a warm day. As we head into this afternoon, actual air temperature going to be climbing into the upper 80s and the lower 90s. 90 by 4. Factor in the humidity, feeling more like the upper 90s to 100 degrees. But then as we head into the overnight hours, humidity sticking around, but air temperature able to drop back into the mid 70s. Our feature track is going to show the possibility of an isolated shower or two, mainly south of I-10 as we head into the peak heating hours of the day. And then as we head overnight, everything drying out. So a much more summer-like pattern. A 20 to 30% chance of seeing showers and storms today and tomorrow. But then as we look ahead to the weekend, we're going to dry out and heat up. It's really going to be pleasant as we look ahead to June. We've got much more, though, on that extended forecast coming up.
Okay, Caroline, thank you today, Caroline, than where we were this time yesterday.
A much more summery feel today, and I think it's actually rather nice to have a break. It has been so active all month. A live look from our Arc Generators camera. You can see some puffy cumulus clouds outside. Temperature-wise, certainly on the warm side. And one thing we're not tracking, any rain showers. Now, there is a 10% chance of seeing an isolated shower south of I-10. Really, most of us, though, just going to be dry and pretty warm today. Right now, we're sitting in the lower 80s, 83 here in Houston, 82 in Conroe, 80 out in Livingston. Humidity certainly out there, and that's why you can add about 5 to 10 degrees to our current temperature. That's what it feels like. Right now here in Houston feels like 90, 92 in Pearland, so not as hot as we have been so far this month, but certainly a warm day. As we head into this afternoon, actual air temperature going to be climbing into the upper 80s and the lower 90s. 90 by 4. Factor in the humidity, feeling more like the upper 90s to 100 degrees. But then as we head into the overnight hours, humidity sticking around, but air temperature able to drop back into the mid 70s. Our feature track is going to show the possibility of an isolated shower or two, mainly south of I-10 as we head into the peak heating hours of the day. And then as we head overnight, everything drying out. So a much more summer-like pattern. A 20 to 30% chance of seeing showers and storms today and tomorrow. But then as we look ahead to the weekend, we're going to dry out and heat up. It's really going to be pleasant as we look ahead to June. We've got much more, though, on that extended forecast coming up.
Okay, Caroline, thank you. One person is dead, several others injured following a large apartment fire. On some travel plan information if folks are heading to Mexico this weekend.
That's right, because we are tracking a tropical storm that's actually just formed in the eastern Pacific. So let me show you our visible satellite. You can see it churning just to the west of Acapulco there. This system has just formed from the National Hurricane Center at 10 a.m. this morning, and you can see that center of rotation. This is now considered a tropical storm, first of the eastern Pacific season. Tropical Storm Alvin is its name, with 40-mile-per-hour winds. As we go into the weekend, we'll start to see those winds increase, which means if you are heading to Acapulco, likely you are going to be seeing elevated rip current risk. And then as we get towards the end of the weekend, by Sunday, this is going to bring some stormy conditions to Cabo. As for us here on the Gulf Coast, well, we follow the Atlantic hurricane season. The Pacific actually starts 2 weeks earlier than us. As for us, the official start is going to be June 1st. That's coming up on Sunday, and we don't see our tropical season peak until the middle of September. Now, the Hurricane Center already putting out outlooks. Thankfully, right now, we're not forecasting anything within the next week across the Atlantic basin. Of course, this is something we're going to continue to monitor, especially as we enter the upcoming season. By the way, our first tropical name, That's going to be Andrea. As for right now, a live look from our Arc Generators camera, you can see some puffy cumulus clouds outside. Temperatures certainly have been warm, in part because we're not dealing with any showers today. In fact, right now, we've got dry skies across the Houston area. Temperature soaring to 88 here in Houston, 84 in Huntsville, 86 out in Pearland. Factor in that humidity, and we feel like the lower to mid 90s. Look at Katy right now, feels like 95 degrees. As we go through the day today, continuing to warm up. Feels like numbers up to 100 degrees. So not a heat advisory, but certainly a warm day out there. Future Track is going to show isolated storms popping up this afternoon, primarily south of I-10. And then as we get into the day on Friday, actually a 30% chance of storms. Now, Friday, really our last wet day. Once we get to Saturday, it's all about that sunshine. Let's talk a bit more about Friday, because we are tracking a cold front pushing across the northern portions of our state. This is going to bring with it storm chances once again to Austin. Look at our future track. By early tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., Austin dealing with some thunderstorms. I think as they push into southeast Texas, these are going to be falling apart. But if they hold together, 10 a.m. looking to be the highest likelihood of seeing those thunderstorms. Otherwise, your extended forecast showing our patterns about to change from stormy every single day to high temperatures in the lower 90s, a 20% chance of a stream or shower. And heads up, next Wednesday is our hurricane and flood survival guide. We'll walk you through everything you need to know ahead of this hurricane season.
Okay. There's a lot to keep tabs on.
Yes. A lot to do.
Yeah. Caroline, thank you.
A warm and humid start to this Thursday. A live look outside the Southwest Freeway. We've got some puffy cumulus clouds, and temperatures, they're heating up rather quick. Now, our normal high temperature this time of year is 90 degrees. We're already at 88 here in Houston, 84 down on the island, 85 in Liberty. Factor in that humidity. Feels closer to 93 here in Houston, 95 out in Katy. So a lot of kids already on summer break. Make sure they're staying hydrated. Our heat risk today is going to be highest south of I-10, but that's also where we have the possibility of seeing isolated thunderstorms. If you've got a friend with a swimming pool, today would be a fantastic day for it, not just because of how warm we are, but because our rain chances finally tapered down quite a bit. This afternoon, a 20% chance of seeing an isolated shower or storm, mainly going to be for our far coastal areas. Otherwise, a high temperature of 90 degrees here in Houston. And looking ahead to the weekend, things are going to start to heat up just a tad. Both Saturday and Sunday, high temperatures making it into the lower 90s, 92 degrees. It's going to be humid, and we've got a 20% chance of storms. But all in all, a very typical summertime weekend for this time of year. Future Track showing you those storms this afternoon, not widespread and not very organized like we have been seeing. Because of this, not expecting anything severe, no flood risk, but by 5 o'clock, especially for areas south of I-10, we could see those isolated stray showers. Lisa, Andy, coming up, I'll walk you through that full weekend forecast and whether or not the heavy rainfall is going to return.
All right, actually needed.
Yeah, and now we're getting a break, and the temps are climbing. It feels like it anyway.
Yeah, temps are climbing, but you know what the good news is? Our soil is moist. So even though the temps are climbing, we're not concerned about drought right now. In fact, today we had a brand new drought monitor come out. You'll notice southeast Texas, we're not seeing any drought in our area. You'll also see that Austin dealing with extreme and exceptional drought. Well, believe it or not, they've actually seen a massive drought reduction, and this only takes data from last Tuesday. That means next week we expect even more reduction of drought. Really an excellent sign. As for the rainfall deficit over the last year here in Houston, we're doing fine, but out towards Brenham and Austin, we're talking up to a foot below what they should have seen in terms of rainfall. That's why all of this wet weather has actually been extremely helpful. Rainfall totals, you can see all of eastern Texas seeing a tremendous amount of rain, and not just eastern Texas. I'll step out so you can see the southeast, portions of Mississippi and Alabama. We're talking over 12 inches of rainfall. It has been extremely soggy here in Houston. We saw 2 to 4 inches of rainfall And thankfully, we're actually seeing a little bit of a break now. Satellite and radar showing a cold front diving its way into the state. This is going to bring rain chances to central Texas, but I don't think it's actually going to reach us here in southeast Texas. Let me take you through that future track. These storms going to be pushing across the state, reaching the Austin area around 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. They'll be diving towards southeast Texas, likely falling apart, but heads up, our far northern and western counties by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning can see some isolated thunderstorms passing through Houston, mainly just as light showers. So for the most part, we are completely in the clear. Now, we still do have a 20 to 30% chance of showers as that frontal system passes through. Timeline for that looks to be 7 a.m. for our northern counties tomorrow, and then reaching the coast by 6 p.m. And behind that front, you can see those blue arrows. That's indicating slightly drier air moving in, and with a high pressure arriving, that's going to lead to a much more summery weekend. Take a look over the next 3 days. We're going to be seeing conditions start to turn more summer. Upper 90s is what it's going to be feeling like. Actual air temperature 92 on Saturday. It's going to be warm. It's going to be humid, but it's going to be pretty seasonal for this time of year. A live look outside showing some puffy cumulus clouds over the Southwest Freeway. Actual air temperature currently sitting in the upper 80s here in Houston. If you've got lunch plans, certainly make sure you sit inside. Heat index feeling like the lower to mid 90s if you're heading out to the pool this afternoon. And thankfully, the weather looks to be totally dry for that special.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know.
Thanks, Caroline.
Coming up, the Trump administration immediately appealing a federal court.
Notably tracking nothing on the radar, which sounds glorious right now.
I mean, this is the first time all week that I can show you the radar, and we really don't have a whole lot going on. Take a live look, Storm Tracker 2 radar. It's dry across southeast Texas. Now, we are tracking some puffy cumulus clouds. You can see that on visible satellite. All of these just providing some much needed shade, because without the rainfall, it's much more focused on the heat today. A live look from our Houston area Chevy dealer's camera. Cloud cover overhead, temperature-wise sitting in the lower 90s across the board. 92 here in Houston, 90 out in Liberty. Factor in that humidity, feeling close to 100 degrees. That's what it feels like in Katy. 97 here in Houston, 92 on the island. So as we head into this evening, the later you go out, the better it's going to feel. But even at 7 o'clock, 84, feeling like 90. This evening, temperatures dropping into the mid 70s. Now, not tracking rainfall here, but I do want to say we are tracking some storms out in far west Texas. You'll notice a severe thunderstorm watch was just issued. You might think, oh my goodness, this is what we saw yesterday. Pretty similar, but thankfully, as these storms track their way towards the east, we are expecting them to decrease in strength. That means tomorrow, only a 30% chance of storms. And then conditions feel a lot more like summer. Lisa, on Saturday, 92 degrees and sunny. Coming up, I've got your full extended forecast.
We will see you soon for that, Caroline. Thank you. Better today than it was yesterday.
And thank goodness.
Yes.
Because every single day we've been talking about a severe threat, a flood threat. I mean, look at what we've seen over the last week.
Wow.
So much rainfall throughout the southeast. Just a few different spots of locations. You can see here in Houston, 2 to 4 inches of rain. Parts of East Texas getting 6 inches. Now, this is a good thing, especially when we talk about heading into our hot, dry summer months. The more rainfall we can get into the soil, the better we're going to be set with those reservoirs, especially if we do get into a drought situation. But I'll tell you what, I think it's nice to have a little bit of a break and just quiet down for a bit. Satellite and radar is going to show West Texas. They're not quieting down at all. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch in place, and those storms are going to be diving their way to the east. Now, thankfully, as they do, they're going to be decreasing in strength. Now, I do think they could hold together to reach the I-35 corridor, Austin, by 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. By 8 a.m., most of these storms falling apart. However, it is possible our far northern counties, areas like Huntsville, and our far western locations like Columbus could see some storms as early as 8 a.m. These storms diving towards the coast, and then conditions start to quiet out a bit. Afternoon showers can't be ruled out every single afternoon, but nothing widespread, nothing severe. And as we head towards the weekend, things are going to feel a lot better. So the storms are tracking out to the west, pass through early tomorrow morning. And then we've got drier, less humid air funneling in. A high pressure system's going to set in. That's going to help us stay dry for Saturday. Sunday, we might start to see some more streamer showers, but still, we're only putting a 20% chance. That's an incredibly summery weekend. Great for the pool, great for pickleball, but it is going to be warm and humid. So if you do want to play pickleball, go on a run, take the dogs for a long walk, the earlier you get out there, quite frankly, the better. As for the tropics, hurricane season starting on June 1st. So far, we're not tracking anything in the Atlantic. That's the good news. However, we are already tracking a system in the far eastern Pacific. Their tropical season starts on May 15th, so a full 2 weeks earlier than what we have here in the Atlantic Basin. And that means we've already got our first tropical storm. Tropical storm Alvin already forming, going to be riding its way up the coast west of Mexico, potentially impacting Cabo as early as Sunday morning as a remnant low. I mentioned we're all dry here in the Atlantic. We typically don't see any sort of uptick in activity until we get to August 1st, with tropical season peaking on September 10th. But don't forget, Hurricane Beryl, that happened on July 8th last year. I mean, and that's the cutest license plate I've ever seen. I love it.
More options will be available, so we'll be on the lookout for that this fall.
Phenomenal. Yes. As long as they have a dog, I'm sold. I'm a sucker. Easy to please.
That's right.
Hey, weather-wise, also easy to please this afternoon, because for the first time in a long time, we are not tracking any showers, but we do have some puffy cumulus clouds from our Houston area Chevy dealer's camera. Not a bad afternoon, especially for late May. Our normal high is 90 degrees. Today, we topped out around 91. If you take a look at our visible satellite, you can see all of those marshmallows. That's our cumulus clouds just passing through, fair weather clouds, and we're not seeing anything on the radar. Conditions looking great. Now, as we go through the weekend, it is possible we can see a streamer shower coming off the coast, mainly going to be for locations south of I-10. As for our temperatures, well, we are on the warm side, currently sitting in the upper 80s and the lower 90s. Right now, 92 here in Houston, 89 out in Pearland, 93 for our friends in Fort Bend County. Factor in the humidity, and it's feeling closer to 99 degrees. That's what it feels like in Katy and Sugar Land, 97 here in Houston. As we go through this evening, temperatures steadily going to be dropping as we go overnight tonight, actually making it into the mid-70s. Lisa, that means tomorrow morning, mid-70s. It's going to be feeling delightful.
We will take delightful any day of the week. Okay, Caroline, thank you so much.
High across southeast Texas, but you might notice on our radar out in West Texas, we're dealing with a severe thunderstorm watch, more downpours, more severe storms. Thankfully, I don't think this is going to reach our area. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Our future track is going to show these storms advancing towards the east. It is possible they can hold together for the I-35 corridor, impacting areas like Austin as early as 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So unfortunately, our Austin friends going to continue to see more storms. Here in southeast Texas, though, most of these should break up. Now, if they are able to hold together, we could see some of those storms in our far northern and western areas as early as 8 a.m. in the morning, passing through Houston, potentially by 10 o'clock. And then exiting. That's if the storms hold together. Otherwise, the primary concern is going to be the possibility of seeing pop-up thunderstorms every single afternoon, and things are going to actually feel a lot better as well. Let me show you the bigger picture. You can see those storms passing through tomorrow morning, and then behind that cold front, we've got wind coming from the north. That's going to be a less humid air. As a high pressure system drops in, this is going to be keeping us dry, sunny. It's actually going to allow for a rather pleasant but summery weekend. Take a live look outside. We've got some puffy cumulus clouds over the southwest freeway there. Temperatures currently sitting in the lower 90s, 92 here in Houston, 85 on the island, 87 out in Livingston. And as we go through this evening, we're going to steadily cool down. By 7 o'clock, 84. Heat index still feeling like 90, certainly feeling a lot better by 9 o'clock. So the later you head out, the nicer it's going to feel. But the next 3 days, conditions are certainly going to be on the warm side. Tomorrow, afternoon storms can't be ruled out with high temperatures in the lower 90s. Certainly a humid Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll start to see a flow from the Gulf. That's going to allow for the possibility of more showers. As for the tropics, tropical season starting on June 1st. That's this weekend. Not tracking anything in the Atlantic basin, but we do have a system that formed at 10 a.m. this morning. You can see it churning in the far eastern Pacific. This is Tropical Storm Alvin. Alvin is expected to make its way to the north and head towards Cabo by the time we get to Sunday. Now, if you are heading out to Cabo this weekend, good news. It's going to be a remnant low by that point, but it is going to be a bit on the soggy side. As for the Pacific, they start their tropical season 14 days earlier than us. Here in the Atlantic basin, we don't start our tropical season until June 1st, but we really don't start to get active really until August, until we get our first big cold front, with the peak of tropical system coming on September 10th. By the way, this year, our names same as 2019, except Dorian was replaced by Dexter. The first name on the list, that's going to be Andrea.